Good morning to all of you. Lead poisoning is a kind of poisoning due to a chemical. The chemical may be lead-containing chemical or by lead itself. For example, people working with battery industry, paint industry, they get exposed to either directly with lead dust or lead-based chemicals. When they get exposed, lead gets into their system. They absorb lead. There are three routes of lead getting into our system. One is through inhalation. When we breathe in and breathe out, sometimes vehicular exhaust, contains lead. Though we have unleaded petrol, it is not lead-free petrol. It's only unleaded. No, lead is added, but fossil fuel itself has lead. There's a certain amount of lead in the fuel, unleaded petrol. We breathe in, especially children, very young, when they breathe in, the lead gets absorbed through lungs, through respiratory system. There's another route for lead, by intestinal route. We eat food, we drink water. Sometimes the food we consume is contaminated or adulterated, even adulterated with lead. For example, we in this part of the world, we use turmeric powder, what we call haldi. The turmeric powder is invariably adulterated with lead chromate, unfortunately, because of several reasons. The color becomes stronger when they add lead chromate to turmeric powder. The turmeric powder remains for a longer time when they add lead chromate. This is how, in many parts of India, in rural areas, we find the adulterated, contaminated turmeric powder used in most of our food items, like whether it's a vegetable biryani, whether it's some haldi is used in everywhere. That goes directly through intestine. That's an inorganic lead. There's one more lead, another form called organic lead. We all know as we grow older, we also would like to look younger. We make up. Old age has to be taken care. Old people dye their hair. I ask them, are you dyeing or dyeing? Hair dye contains 1.5% lead acetate, organic lead. Most of the cosmetics. Today, unfortunately, even the sacred symbol of a married woman, which is called sindoor. Sindoor is adulterated or they use chemicals. Lead-based chemicals, mercury-based chemicals. Now, I do not know what is the lead content of sindoor used in this part of our world. I don't know who makes it, where it comes from. Earlier days, sindoor was made at home using natural colors, natural dyes. Today it's available in the market. Rangoli, what we use in front of our house on festival days. Colors. Paints, what we use. The paint in India, till recently, 99% of market share of paint manufactured in India were lead-based paints. Lead level going up to 45,000 ppm, when the lead level should not be more than 90 ppm as per the US standard. Most of the paints, especially yellow paint, which is used in the school buses, playgrounds, yellow paint has the highest amount of lead. I do not know why children are exposed to that. Not only paint, even some traditional medicines. These are all various sources of lead, traditional medicines. What we consider the herbal medicines we use in India, we use in Nepal, traditional medicines. Some of the traditional medicines, including Chavanaprash, is found containing lead. These are all the various sources. Every day, people are exposed to lead. How? Drinking water. Every bottled water, they say, free from protein, no sugar, no carbohydrate, no lipids. But do they say there's no pesticide? Do they say there's no lead? The plumbing line where lead was used, even today in some parts of Washington, the drinking water was found containing lead because of the plumbing line, old plumbing lines. We know that the great water supply problem in US in one of the cities, which attracted the whole world, there was a lead poisoning because of that. Is our water, drinking water, safe? Is our air, what we breathe, is clean? Is the soil on which our children play, is it safe? Is there a lead dust there? Is there a roadside battery repair shop who opens the battery, lead acid battery, repairs, and all the fumes, the dust goes out into the nature? Is there any information about that? These are all some of the sources of lead, where lead has no biological function in any human body or in any animal. Lead has no biological function. Even as little as few micrograms of lead in 100 ml of blood is dangerous. I tell you, it's a good question you asked. How does it affect? Lead has no biological effect. Once it gets into our body, it goes into various organs in the body. It doesn't spare any organ. It gets accumulated in soft tissues. It gets accumulated in kidney. It gets accumulated in bone. Goes to the brain. There is no barrier for this. Very small quantity. If you take 1 gram, divide that into 1,000 parts. Each part is 1 milligram. You can't see that. If you take 1 milligram, what we cannot see, divide that into 1,000 parts. Each part is called, equal part is called microgram. You can imagine, even under the microscope we cannot see. If only 2 to 5 micrograms of lead is present in the blood, in 100 ml of blood, it can bring about DNA aberration. It can change the DNA structure. If about 10 microgram of lead is present in 100 ml of blood, it can reduce the IQ of a child. During growth and development of a child, the IQ comes down. And people at home, they say, my elder child is intelligent, but second child is dull. This is what God has given. Maybe the second child was exposed to lead by putting some lead containing ornamental materials into their mouth. Possible. Children and women must be protected first from any exposure to lead. Lead competes with calcium. I'll tell you a very interesting story. One young lady came to our hospital. She was around 30-35. She was having all the problems of 60-year-old lady, bone problems. Low backache. When she used to sit, it was difficult for her to get up. Doctors diagnosed as osteoporosis, which normally happens at old age. But this young lady had. And they found out her blood lead level was high. One lead can compete with 1,000 calcium. One lead, only one lead can compete with 1,000 calcium. Means wherever calcium is required in the body, lead will interfere. Pregnant lady. Poor lady, she doesn't know she is pregnant. She is exposed to lead. There are many ways she can get exposed to lead. Lead containing medicines, lead polluted water, lead polluted air she might be breathing. There might be a battery repair shop next to her house. She'll be inhaling. And that lead has no placental barrier. The small little fetus is in the womb. All the lead goes to the fetus. Where in the fetus, the lead has no blood-brain barrier. It goes and deposits in the brain of that growing fetus. When the baby is born, it develops convulsions. What क्या बोलते हैं हम लोग? मिर्गी, convulsions. The child develops convulsions. Child eventually dies. Even at the level of as low as 60 microgram of lead in 100 ml of blood, children have died. Do you know what is the blood lead level of our children here? Do you know the blood lead level of our people who are listening to me? Do they know that they are living with lead? That they don't have lead safe environment? Today, because people are getting little more money, the children's room, they paint it. The bedroom of the child is beautifully painted with all bright colors. And the paint peels off in the form of dust. Child gets exposed. That child IQ goes down. Irreparable damage in one's life. You can lose anything, you can get back. But if you lose IQ, intelligent quotient, it cannot be regained. Children will develop disturbed cognitive function. There will be attention diversion, learning disabilities, hearing disabilities. These are all because of lead. Now, In this part of our world, where there's a lot of development going on, people were not using paint that freely, now they are using. The lot of craftsmanship is here, metalwork is going on here, they use lead there. There's a power failure in every part of Nepal, as I have seen. They use UPS battery at home. The UPS battery will be kept under the staircase or in one corner. Who maintains that? Every day that lady will come and with the broom will clean. The powder on the terminals will get spread. It's all lead oxide powder, lead sulfide, lead oxide. That goes everywhere in the house. Have they bothered about children getting exposed to that? These are some of the current problems. Lead poisoning is known all over the world. But during industrialization, they realized lead is very, very toxic. Romans were very great intellectuals. Where are the Romans today, intellectual Romans? They started storing wine in the lead container. They were using lead pipes for supply of water. That's why they were called plumbers. Plumbum means lead. And they were drinking wine in lead cups. And they thought lead is a very precious metal. They were using lead everywhere. That destroyed the entire Roman Empire. It's known in the history. I will take you to a very interesting incident. In India, in South India, there is a very famous temple, Balaji temple. People know, I think, Tirupati or Balaji. The temple is one of the richest temples in the world. Why I am telling you this is same, I have seen in Pashupatinath temple also something similar to that. In Tirupati temple, lakhs of people go. They have put stone slabs on which they walk. They have put concrete. The concrete used to come out. People used to eat prasadam inside after offering it to the god. Prasad used to go and settle, used to sting. Then somebody suggested, why don't you put lead and seal it between these stones. They purchased 37, 38 tons of lead and sealed it. Lakhs of people walk. There are 6 wells inside. They pump water, clean it. While cleaning, all the lead used to go back to that well only. They were putting that well water up and making that prasad, you know Tirupati prasad. It's called laddu. I said it's not laddu, it's leddu. Lead content of that laddu is very high. Then after examining, after telling them, I said remove lead and put plastic or epoxy. Today we are using lead very freely. There's no ban on the use of this. Number 1, environmental poison lead. Lead is number 1 environmental poison all over the world. Nobody is spared from lead poisoning. Why I am concerned about this is, those days, earlier days in Ayurvedic preparation, they were not using any lead. Over a period of time, even in that wonderful Ayurvedic medicine, some lead has entered in the form of basmas, rasayanas. Allopathic medicine, we think very safe. The shell caul, what we use for treating osteoporotic people, contains foam containing lead. Go to Middle East and African medicines, contains henna. Henna is a plant product. If you apply henna to the hair turns little brownish. But to make the hair black, to henna they mix lead. Look at this. Henna, the hair dye. That's why I ask people, are you dyeing or dyeing? If you go to Mexico, Mexican medicine, South American medicines contain lead. That means lead is worldwide used even in medicines. Okay, let us take media. All of us would like to read newspapers. Morning, first thing I do is get the newspaper and read. News media. The printing ink on the news media. The printing ink contains lead. And people serve bhaji, pakoda and eatables in that. Forget about that. School child. Other day I was in Lalitpur. I was taking a walk. All little, beautiful, very good looking school children were going to school. I talked to a couple of them. How do you write? They showed me pencil. I said, show me your pencil. One side of the pencil is for writing, the other side of the pencil for chewing. Then inside lead, that is not lead, what we use to write, it's carbon and graphite. But on the pencil there's a painting. That paint contains lead. They chew that. That's enough to poison the child. Why should we give children painted pencil? Why can't we give wooden finished pencil? Save the child. Go to the park, children park. So many gadgets are there, beautifully painted. Yellow paint, green paint are found containing very high amount of lead. I am very happy to learn that in Nepal, the decision has been taken to ban lead-based paint. The leaders and other NGOs have done Ramcharit and our Ramcharit and our other friend. Dheeraj Pokral. I met them. They have done wonderful work, I tell you. Hats off to them. Two youngsters. They are fighting. They have succeeded in getting some government order that Nepal will not be producing or manufacturing any lead-based paint. I don't know whether paint is manufactured in Nepal or imported from neighboring countries. We have big brothers like India and China. We might be importing. But when we import, do we have a mechanism to inspect, check, to say that it's lead-free or lead-safe? Our lead level is below 90 ppm. The only way to protect people from lead poisoning is by educating. What you are doing through media, that's number one, the best. 60% of the problem can be solved by educating people through various means, whether e-media or paper media or whatever it is. Number two, at school level, I believe, catch them young and educate them. In the schools, I am very happy. Our Samyak laboratory is now going to establish lead referral center very soon. They have on their agenda, I am told, to go to various schools and talk to them, show them some pictures, show them some slides and tell them what are all the sources of lead, how it enters the body, after it enters the body, what it does. And treatment becomes very, very expensive. In US, to treat one lead poisoned child, it costs something like $2,000. The $2,000 may be 1 year budget for one family in a developing country. How can they get that much money? Treatment not only expensive, it's not available in many of our countries. Many lead poisoned cases are getting ignored. They are not getting treatment. The one is awareness. The second thing is we need few centers where people can go and get their health checked to say whether they have lead in their blood or not. Especially those children who are hyperactive, those children who are not doing well in the school, those children who have disturbed cognitive function, those children who are anemic, pregnant ladies who are anemic, not getting corrected with iron and folic acid, must get their blood level done. Then we can prevent further damage. That is another thing which is needed. Third, we need a laboratory facilities in this country. At least 1 or 2 places in Kathmandu, couple of places in other major cities in Nepal. We need facilities for blood lead monitoring. Lead poisoning is 100% preventable. I will again and again, I want to stress, the lead poisoning is 100% preventable. No other disease is 100% preventable. Once we know, we do not know in our population here, we have a lot of ethnic population, various places. I do not know in the deep interior hills whether there are lead acid batteries used for storage of electricity, whether the paints are reaching them, whether traditional medicines are reaching them. We have to go find out, check. For example, in India, one area called Ladakh, where there was no lead. Ladakh was free from lead. And it was decided to create solar power backup in these villages in Ladakh. Every family was given one solar panel. That solar panel required lead acid battery. They were all imported that time from China. These batteries died after 1.5 years. Batteries are lying all over Ladakh and nobody is to take it back for recycling, and they are getting into environment. If there is a bucket a hole in the bucket, they take that lead, melt it and try to seal it. Lead is a very soft metal, melts at a low temperature. Anybody can use it. Even our electrician coming and putting the fuse uses bites that lead and tin wire. People are not aware. This is the scenario today. I do not know in the Kumbu region, when a lot of people are going for trekking to base of Mount Everest via Tangboche, Pangboche, Periche, Namche, Bazaar and all that, they will be carrying a lot of dry batteries. Are they coming back? Are they left there? Now these are all the problems we need to look into. It is a cumulative problem. This has to be prevented. We need a good, what do we call, awareness, good regulation. It all started about 25 years ago, when I was a professor of biochemistry at St. John's Medical College, Bangalore. One gentleman from US came, by name Mr. Abraham George, an Indian born. He was in army. He had to take a voluntary retirement because he was little hearing disability. He had some hearing disability. He was an economist. He became a computer expert. He established a computer company in the US, made a lot of money. And when he came back, he asked me one question. What is the level of lead poisoning in India? I had no answer. I asked him what? He said, what is the blood lead level in your population? I said, I have not come across any data. Then he said, will you undertake a study to monitor the blood lead level of children and women? I said, if somebody funds, yes, I will take. He said, I will give you equipment, I will give you money. Can you do it? I said, I alone cannot do. I need multi-centric study. In 7 metros in India, we had the facilities provided by Dr. Abraham George of the George Foundation. We had the project Lead Free. Admiral Dawson was the chairman. These two people gave me the freedom, facilities. In 7 metros, we measured the blood lead level of 23,000 people during 1996 and 2000. That time in India, we did not have the unleaded petrol. We had leaded petrol. We were adding tetraethyl lead to petrol as an anti-knock. Every day when I was carrying my child on the scooter, the child was getting exposed to lead. Every child was getting exposed to lead in metros because vehicular traffic. You know the result? People will be shocked to know. On 11th of November in Hotel Ashoka, I presented only one slide. That slide said, 53% of children below 12 years in India, in 7 metros, have their blood lead level above 10 microgram per deciliter. This was the result. It was kept secret. This was supported WHO, CDC and EPA, OSHA. So many international organizations funded this project. We did not take even 1 rupee from Government of India. We brought out the data. We called government officials. We called the Petroleum Ministry, called the MPs, called the governors. One slide said 53% of children below 12 years as on 1999 November has the blood lead level above 10 microgram per deciliter. That means every second child in Bombay, Delhi, Calcutta, Chennai, Bangalore had the lead poison, already lead poison. As a result, they said, so what? I said their IQ is reduced by 6 to 8 units. So what? Again, next question asked. I said by 2020, these children will become human productivity in India. There will be annual economic damage of 600,000 crores budget of one of the states. Then they got shocked. They said, how can we believe this? What do you want us to do? I said, please, do not add tetraethyl lead to petrol. Let us use unleaded petrol, gasoline, like what US and Europe, Australia 30 years ago used. But they said, we have already purchased 500,000 tons of tetraethyl lead. What to do? I said, put it in some desert, deep desert, bury it. They won't listen to me. Abraham George, Admiral Dawson, and went to Washington to the World Bank with a request to the chair of the World Bank. We want you to protect children in developing countries like India, Pakistan, Nepal, Indonesia, Malaysia. Said, why? Then we said, we are all using lead-based petrol, leaded petrol. We want unleaded petrol. What do you want us to do? World Bank is not manufacturing petrol. I said, please give one letter, 3-line letter. If developing countries do not introduce unleaded petrol by 2003, no more World Bank loan. Just that's enough. Letter was typed, they signed, was brought. It was given to the government of India, given to many other countries. The moment they realized no more World Bank loan, immediately they acted on this. By March 2000, all over India, we had unleaded petrol. In 2001, I came to Kathmandu, driving all the way along with my friend in a car. When we entered Nepal, after crossing the border, we wanted to fill petrol, we wanted unleaded petrol. Everywhere in this valley, in every petrol bunk, there was only leaded petrol, no unleaded petrol. I said, where are you getting this from? They said, from India. India was making unleaded petrol to India, but that leaded petrol was supplied to the other neighboring countries. That was also brought to the notice. How many children are dying, I don't know, because of lead poisoning? Should we not do something? There are innocent people, ignorant people. We need to help them, educate them. This is something government should open their eyes and look into this. It is not possible by one person or one organization or one community. The entire population should understand, work towards this. Then only this can. We cannot create lead-free environment, I tell you. We cannot. Each one of us require, in our lifetime, half a ton of lead. You require half a ton of lead. You are going by bus, going by train, going by flight, having UPS at home. Even your shirt button, which is shining, contains lead. Artificial jewelry, poor people use, contains lead. Plastic buckets, colored buckets, contains lead. Plastic pipes, plumbing pipes, contains lead. Kalai, what we do, to brass vessels, kalai, I don't know whether it's common in this part of our tin plating, in this part of our country, contains lead. The adulterate tin with lead. Lead is cheapest metal. When are we going to educate every second person? When are we going to protect every child? If we have to have an intelligent society, productive society, we need to create awareness about this number one environmental toxin, lead. It is possible. Many international bodies like IPEN is supporting for a lead-safe paints. WHO is coming out with a treatment protocol at affordable price. United Nations, World Water Authority, many water purifying systems in many countries are also concerned about lead in water. And today we decorate animals before sacrifice. So much of sindoor we put all over the body. You have seen that. And is that safe? A synthetic color? We need to look at. Holy festival, very common. What colors are the safe? Do they contain lead? And people during Dashara, they paint their body like tiger. I don't know whether that thing is there. In our place, they dance to collect some money. Skin absorbs the lead. There are various ways of educating people. We need to